Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan and today we've got an update on the situation in Israel / Palestine, and we're going to jump straight into it, guys. Now, I want to talk about this, start off with, because there's a few sources of information with regards to the Egyptian border. The Rafah crossing is still not qualified due to the bombings that have been taking place there, and there is no guarantee that it will not be bombed if it is opened. So there's a bit of a problem on the Rafah border, guys. There was initial denial that the border had actually been bombed or targeted, but there's video sources out and everything now stating that, you know, it is actually a target. So it's hindering the safe passage, so to speak. But let's have a look at a few pictures here for reference. Rafah border. As you'd expect a border to be, but this area has been targeted, okay? And this is the only real place that, you know, it's not just about safe passage, it's about being able to get aid in and stuff via Egypt and things like that. It's quite difficult, but this is what the minister, Chris Law, says. Can the Prime Minister please give his personal assurance that every single step has been taken to open the Rafah crossing for humanitarian aid and for UK nationals to flee? Prime Minister must do everything he can to ensure that this border is open. So it's what this person's got to say. Let's listen to this.
Mr. Speaker, the Rafah border crossing from besieged Gaza into Egypt has been hit by several Israeli airstrikes, causing absolute terror for those who urgently need this crossing open to escape. Nadia El Nakla, an elected councillor in my city of Dundee and the wife of Scotland's First Minister, has had to take calls from her parents, Elizabeth and Majid, who, like all others trapped in Gaza, have been describing the horrors of death and indiscriminate killings everywhere. Members of her family were hit yesterday by a rocket from a drone, and Nadia's mother was saying her final goodbyes this morning, adding, "Last night was the end for me. Better if my heart stops, and then I'll be at peace. I can't take another night." Mr. Speaker, with military action intensifying and the death toll rapidly rising, the Prime Minister's first responsibility must be to bring British citizens home. So can the Prime Minister please give his personal assurances that every single step has been taken to open the Rafah crossing for both humanitarian aid and for UK nationals like Nadia's family to flee?
So the problem with that is we've seen imagery coming out that the Rafah border has been targeted, guys, okay? Which is a big problem when you think about just on a humanitarian aid point of view. You want to be able to get that aid in without the you know, unwanted casualties that could take place due to bombing. Whether or not it's targeted towards them or not is irrelevant. It's just you need safe passage, guys, okay? So a lot of problems on that border, troops, to say the least. Let's get straight into the rest of it then. 8 minutes ago, residents of Kiryat Shmov have been instructed to stay near shelters as Hezbollah's attacks on the border continue, targeting the Al-Manara border settlement site opposite Maya al-Jabba al-Hula settlement there. So when they're talking about settlements, guys, it's just a little village basically, okay? I don't know why they use the site, I don't know why they call them settlements. It's just where people live. It sounds primitive when they say that, don't they? It's kind of taking away the humanity of these people a bit. Now, Jordanian Prime Minister, we will not allow and will confront any attempt to displace the Palestinians from their land. So Jordan is getting involved now. Prime Minister's been vocal with that, saying that they're not going to allow any attempt to displace the Palestinians from their land. So if you think about that, geographically speaking, Jordan, right-hand side of Israel, and they've got all these problems with Israel. You've got all these problems in Gaza with the Palestinians. You've got all of these issues with Lebanon to the north, and then Syria north of that as well. So the country's pretty much surrounded by Arab nations who are, you know, speaking up, being quite vocal that they're against what's going on over there. So, you know, whichever side you're on, if you are picking a side, I tend to be in the middle, as you guys know. I have no problem saying that either. I just don't like the killing of innocent individuals. I don't care what side you're on. Killing of children, irrelevant of religion, colour, creed. I don't care about that. It's wrong, all right? And no one will be able to tell me otherwise. Simple as that. That is my stance. Portis was asked what made him so sure Israel wasn't behind the explosion at the hospital in Gaza. The data I was shown by my Defense Department. Now, this is really interesting. I've seen a lot of stuff coming out on Twitter, of all places, with loads of different information. And it's not just one way, it's both ways, okay? There's a lot of misinformation out there. It's really, really hard to understand who is actually responsible for this. Some are saying it's a false flag from Hezbollah. Some are saying it's targeted from the Israelis. Why? Well, it has been suspected that, or not suspected, in the past, Hamas has used hospitals, places of worship to store munitions and to store troops and to, effectively work out of under the how can I put it, false image of a place that shouldn't be have anything to do with the military. Okay, so working in the shadows of the hospitals and stuff like that, disguised, so to speak. So if that is the case, Israel wanted to target these military dens with harbouring terrorists and illegal munitions, but in doing so, destroyed the lives of hundreds of people. Or the other narrative is Hamas did it on purpose, a false flag to show that, Israel is inhumane in that way. So it's very hard to decipher. So, how are people feeling with regards the hospital in general? We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Let's have a look. This is a massive protest in Jordan after the bombing in the Gaza hospital. Everyone knows Israel is a terrorist state. That is what that person has quoted. That's not me saying it. Okay, let's have a look at this. Massive, massive protest. I mean, that's an insane amount of people right there. And before you jump to conclusions, but that's a Jordan country, that's a Middle Eastern country. Okay, let's just have a look slightly north. Here's a huge protest in downtown Dallas, Texas, America, of all places, in solidarity with Palestine. Okay, look at those people there. Looks like a nice mix of individuals there. So this isn't just happening in Middle Eastern countries. It's happening all over the world. Okay, there was a massive protest in London the other day. Half an hour ago, Gaza Strip, Biden, new missiles launches from Gaza. And Biden, the reality is that the war in Israel will be long. Politicians are telling us, the global guys are telling us, the people in charge are saying this is going to be a long war, just like they said at the beginning for Ukraine. So, I have every reason to believe that this is going to be long. I'm going to be reporting on this for an awful long time, which means loads of money for the wrong people, okay? When you talk about the weaponry that's going to have to be developed to... America doesn't just give stuff away, okay? They create... Everything that they've given away, their budget just recreates, and the arms industry keeps on going, all right, churning out trillions and trillions and trillions. It's profitable to be at war. The Ras Al Narak naval site and the Jal Alam site in Lebanon were targeted with guided missiles, and the Israeli army bombed their area's forests. Where is this at? Okay, so it's at the border again. Borders of Lebanon. Yeah, loads of problems going on there. In fact, let's have a look along this border here. We've got, an hour ago, several explosions heard on the Lebanese south of border near Narukra. Here we go. We got some footage, actually. So it seems like it's been taken on a phone. There you can hear the missiles now. Someone's phone. Beautiful place, eh? Beautiful place, terrible things happening there. Yeah. You can hear the bombs going off in the distance. A lot of these houses were evacuated, but not all of them. Only if you were in a 2-mile exclusion zone, or a 2-kilometer exclusion zone. Just to the right of that, about 20,000 feet, as per the map key. We had, an hour ago, Hezbollah has announced that another of its members has been killed, seemingly in a recent Israeli army strike. To the right of that, Israeli army conducts strikes on Hezbollah positions near Al-Ashab, southern Lebanon. Again, borders quite sparsely populated, to be fair, or at least it looks like it. Little settlement outcrops there. 6 hours ago, Israeli bombing hit the Forrest area on the outskirts of the town of Alma al-Shab. All of this area, quite rural, nothing really there, so not necessarily majorly targeted to specific areas, mainly just to probably soften up the land and let them know, hey, you know, we're watching, if that makes any sense. There's definitely rounds going down. Only an hour ago, small arms fire in the vicinity of the town of Zarit near the Israeli-Lebanon border, so this is a little bit more populated now. In terms of size, we're talking 500, 1,000, 3,000 feet wide. Not really a massive area, but there's been fighting taking place there, small arms, so not really sure how many people. The fact that there was no artillery or mortars or anything tells me that it's probably only a small number of individuals on the ground there, plus it's not really a massive area, and the actual site itself is largely surrounded by woodland. About an hour ago, Israeli army says a number of military posts on the Lebanon border were attacked with gunfire. Military says it is responding with artillery shelling towards the sources of the fire, so more strikes taking place along that border there, guys. Let's keep going along this border, actually. About 8 hours ago, Israeli army published drone footage showing before and after the failed Islamic Jihad rocket slammed into the parking lot of the Al-Ahli hospital in Gaza. Are we going to get any footage? Nope. Let's go back to this border. I want to have a look at this border, guys. Loads going on there. Here we go. Let's go to this bit. UNIFIL spot Andrex Tenney confirmed on Wednesday that UNIFIL peacekeepers are still in their positions and carrying out their tasks. Israeli army says a number of military posts were, yeah, we've done that one. A bit further across now. 2 Lebanese farmers were injured in a field outside the town of Aitirun after being shot at from Israeli border site. Farmers are getting blasted up. Like, that's mental, man. Targeting the farmers. We're going to see a lot more of this as well, I think. Innocent people just getting shot out of the area. I mean, what are you going to do with the farmers? Ridiculous. Palestinian Ministry of Health. 2 people were killed by bullets in the town of Shuba, Ramallah district. Targeting the Al-Manara border settlement site opposite Maizal Jabal al-Hula. Yeah, we've seen that one. Pretty much destroying that area. The Israeli government approves expanding the evacuation of towns adjacent to the Lebanese border from 2 kilometers to 5 kilometers. Right. So that's massive, actually. 2K to 5K, so 1,000. Let's have a look. So 1 kilometer. So 5 kilometers is, in fact, let's do a little measurement, shall we? 5 kilometers is about there. So whether or not it's 5K either side, I don't know. But if it's not, say it's 2.5K, so 5K with the border in the middle, we're not looking at, we're looking at about there, troops, okay? Either side, all the way on the border. That's quite a hefty, that's a massive operation, that, guys. One that would be really, really hard to coordinate, that's for sure. Gaza City, let's go back to this. So multiple bodies were recovered from under the rubble of a house from the Haboush family near the Gaza port, which was targeted a short while ago, only 2 hours ago. Loads more houses. This whole place is going to be getting absolutely smashed to bits, guys. Israeli Prime Minister next to Biden at War Cabinet meeting in Tel Aviv. This will be a different kind of war because Hamas is a different kind of enemy. While Israel seeks to minimize civilian casualties, Hamas seeks to maximize civilian casualties. Now, I do not agree with that bit. I don't agree with that. I think both sides need to minimize civilian casualties. Both sides have been failing at that, okay? Both sides have targeted individuals who have nothing to do with this at all. Now going into Cairo, the Egyptian official media says that Cairo responds to Netanyahu's refusal to open the crossing by not allowing the evacuation of foreigners from Gaza. They've also said that the escalation will be met with escalation, so no one's wanting to back down on any side in the Middle East. It's all up in the air. Everyone's kicking off with each other. Everyone wants a piece of the pie, so to speak, okay? This is what's going on. 2 hours ago, US President Joe Biden attends the Israeli War Cabinet meeting. Probably going to get his head down. He's took his blanket with him and his pillow because that's what he does these days, doesn't he? He gets his head down in meetings. How the hell? Oh, don't get me started, guys. I know you guys get a bit upset, some of you, when I talk about Sleepy Joe, but I just don't care anymore. I just don't care. I think all politicians at the very top are absolutely dreadful at their job. Why? Because we got shit like this happening all over the planet. All over the planet, you see nothing but dreadful news. People getting obliterated off the planet. Why should I care about these top politicians? I think they all stink. There you go. How's that sound? Now, Hamas, the United States, is blindly biased towards Israel after Biden blamed the hospital explosion on Palestinian militants. Biden doesn't even know what date is, so I don't know how he's got that. What that should have said is Biden's team behind him have said that was what happened. So he's just basically reciting whatever. Okay. Turkish Foreign Minister, what is happening in Gaza violates all humanitarian principles. Someone's saying something that someone's saying something that actually makes sense for a while. Okay, what's happening in Gaza violates all humanitarian principles. If you disagree with that, I think you need to really go and have a look at your life and realize what life means to you. This is what's going on both sides. Terrible, really. Israeli planes bombed a house in Gaza. No real context to it, just a house being bombed. So whether or not there was an individual in there that they had to take out or a family, I guess it doesn't really matter. People just seem to do what they want these days, especially powerful militaries. Let's just destroy that house, everyone in it, okay? Not one F given. Crazy stuff. Palestinian foreign minister attacking and killing civilians in their homes and targeting hospitals over a period of 75 years are illegal acts. He also says the international community was satisfied with counting the number of civilian deaths and civilians. He also said, we warned of deteriorating situation in Gaza and the danger of continuing the siege. Planes bombed 2 houses in Khan Yunis, south of Gaza Strip, and there were casualties. Israeli army says there was an increase in the number of rockets launched from Gaza that fell short in the Strip yesterday. According to the Israeli army, some 450 rockets have fallen short in Gaza since the fighting began October 7th. That's a crazy amount of rockets, okay, guys? This is allegedly where they were fired from. Percentage of failed Hamas rocket launches in the Gaza Strip. Terrible, okay? And that's to be condemned as well. I don't care what side it's on. It's wrong. Why are people wanting to throw sticks and stones and bombs and guns? You know, it really does. It pisses me off sometimes, this stuff. You know, because this is the thing. People will write stupid comments saying, oh, he's with this side. Oh, you can't say that. The amount of hate you see in the comment section, not just on my videos, on any video talking about Israel or Palestine or Ukraine or Russia, about absolute dreadful things about the opposite side of which one you support. And people are just absolutely barbaric, man. Absolutely barbaric. In fact, some of the most barbaric people I've ever met or heard of are those who have never picked up a weapon system, wouldn't know how to fire one, wouldn't know how to fight with a bare fist. Just absolute keyboard warriors behind this behind one of these. Absolutely crazy, dangerous, I would say, behind these things. But they're all supportive of all of this killing and everything, and they haven't got the slightest idea what it entails, okay? They don't understand it in the slightest, and they're all for it. It's crazy, isn't it? The people that haven't got a clue what power the hands have, all right, and what power weapon systems have, seem to be all for war, really. And me being trained in one of the hardest military organizations on the planet, who did understand how weaponry is and the dangers and the impacts of, shooting a bullet in someone's head, and understand what a grenade can do to the body, and understanding what phosphorus does to the skin. I'm the crazy guy. I'm the crazy guy for saying I'm not for any side. Killing's wrong. What's wrong with that? Bearing in mind my background, it's like not listening to a doctor when he tells you that there's something wrong with you medically. You, who haven't got a clue what you're doing, eating burgers and drinking Fanta all day, decide that you know better than that person. I'm not saying that I know an awful lot about the politics of this. I'm not a politician, but I'm talking about the humanitarian side of things, okay? When it comes to killing, being trained to do that, okay? I'm against this. I'm telling you, I'm against any of this shit. That's where I stand on that. In fact, I'm going to leave it there, guys, because I think we're going to go on a bit of a tangent with that one, and I don't want to. I just want to leave you on this note. Killing is wrong. I don't care what side you're on, period.